So the next thing I want to show you is just how to make scalable images, because you might need your images to get bigger and smaller. So currently you can see this picture is just always the same size, right? This guy is. There's also no background picture, so I'm going to put one in and then just show you how you would make it so that it scales with the background as well, because that's also useful. Although you don't have to. Generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of putting like crazy images in the back. You need to make sure you're very like clean with it, like make it more of like a kind of a pattern that sits in the back, but we'll make it work with what we got here. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add it in here. So it's gonna go in the body because that's where the background image goes. So first we're gonna do is we're gonna say the width, we're just gonna make it 100%, just because we want to make sure that the background is indeed moving 100% as well. So if we just say, since it's attached to the background, the body is, we make sure it's the full width of the entirety of the page. All right, now we need to attach the background image. So it's gonna be background image, and then background image, and then we need to do a URL, and we want to do a single quote, and then it's going to be now. So here's how I'm going to find it. We're going to go here, and if you look, okay, index. So I'm going to go for my index. This is where I am. I got to go to images first, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. Oops, images / it's in that folder. It already shows it here, but images, right? And then from there, it is, we're going to do this one, background image, the PNG one. So if it doesn't pop up, I just do this. I'll click and click, and I just copy it, Control C or Command C, and then Control V. That just makes sure that the name's the same, because if you try to type it in, there's a good chance that you're going to mess it up because you're terrible. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead, and so that's one part. So now we have the picture in there, but it's not going to actually be responsive, so we need to do a couple other things. So we want to do background, where are you? Background size, and we just want to do cover, so it covers the entirety of it. And then we also want to do, just to make sure, background repeat. I don't see it there yet. Background hyphen repeat, and we want to do no repeat. Thank you. And I think that's it. Okay, let's just save that. Make sure that that is indeed working. Control R. And there you go, okay? And if I scale it, it's kind of hard to tell, but you see how it's scaling? You kind of get it, right? The problem is that it's only going to scale to the width of this. So as far as the thing's concerned, it's to the bottom of this, so you won't see it underneath here. However, if you get this to go beyond, then it will actually, once they stack, it'll get really big. So the background is scaling. It just doesn't, it's not super obvious, okay? All right, so the next thing to do is to actually, I want to make that logo responsive. So we're going to make a special class for it. Be relatively easy. I'm just going to put it right underneath this one. Order doesn't really matter. Well, it does, but it doesn't matter for most of what we're doing now. So we're going to make one called responsive -img. So responsive image, and then this is what you need to put in there. You want to do max width, and we're going to do 100%. Okay. And then we're going to do height. Oops, that's not height. Height. And we're going to do auto. Okay. Now, you want to make sure you do it like this, because the problem is if you just do width, let's say 100%, it's actually going to scale it really gigantic. This way, what it'll do is it'll only scale it to the total width of the original image. It'll only go as big as the image will allow, and it won't scale it bigger than that. Otherwise, you'll get like, it'll be, the resolution will be poor, and it'll make it like gigantic and be awful. And then height auto just means that it's going to also scale the height, but just based off of what the width is. Otherwise, you could just end up with just the width scaling, and then you just, my cone guy just gets very portly as you pull the thing out wide. All right, so let's just save that. Oh, so we actually need to apply it. So I'm just going to grab it, Control C, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to apply it right to this image. So I'm just going to do class, and then Control V, just put that responsive image on that, so that way it will apply. We'll go here, and let's hit Control R or Command R, depending on what you're on, and see how he scales now? See? Gets smaller and bigger, depending on the size of his box. But he doesn't get crazy big. He only gets as big as the thing allows, okay? So, good. Now it's scaling. And that's how you make a scalable image. Good. Yep. So those two all look pretty good. Yeah, let's go to the next one.